Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the sixth episode of the Not Your Everyday MMA podcast. My name's Alex Henry, and I'm with Tori Haverl. And a lot, as always, is happening in the MMA world community, and that's what we're here to talk about. We're also going to talk about the next card, up-and-coming card, Dern versus Xiaonan, and we'll do our top five as well. So let's start it off recapping last episode. Was Cory Sandhagen versus Yadong Song. Tori, I'll throw it over to you. What did you have to make about this fight?
I mean, Cory looked great in this fight, and man, was that cut gnarly on Song's head. It was, you could see the inside of everything. Not as bad as Rodriguez in the fight before, but pretty bad. It could have been stopped earlier than it was, but I mean, you have to give props to both fighters. Song is still very young. He is still 24 years old. He's still making his way up, and he looked good in the fight. It wasn't like he got completely dominated. Cory just outclassed him. Cory was just better. You could just clearly see kind of what we had said in the last podcast is he's just overall the more, not even, he does have less fights than Song, but just the more experienced, well-versed fighter. And he really, really showed that. He mixed in some wrestling as well, which worked to his advantage. Even though he didn't really land a takedown, that doesn't mean that he necessarily was attempting to take him down to get him to the floor. It was slowing down Song's pace. And so I thought he did good. Props to Cory, and it was a great fight.
Yeah, I would say this was one of the better performances I've seen from Cory Sandhagen in a while. Like, he looked extra good in this fight. And like you said, not to discredit how Song looked, I thought Song looked really good, and I still think he has lots of potential. Tori, I want to ask you, what does the UFC do with Cory Sandhagen?
I mean, in my opinion, the obvious choice is Mr. Marlon Chito Vera. That would be a firework fight. These two are my favorite bantamweights in the division. They're just both so exciting, and I think they're both fan favorites in general, and they're both amazing. And I think that's the fight to make. I think that's one that makes sense, and whoever wins that, maybe next for the title, or maybe gets the loser of Aljamain versus TJ. There's just so many things going on in the bantamweight division that you kind of pick apart right now, but what about you?
I 100% agree. I think that'd be such a good fight to make. I'll ask you this too before I give my full answer. Do you think Cory Sandhagen could be champ again,
It's hard. I mean,
or have a shot at the title again, not champ again?
1000%. I think he can have a shot at the title again. I mean, we didn't really get to see him face Aljamain just because the fight ended so quick in his first round submission. And I mean, it was a quick end, but I think Cory, if he didn't get taken down that early, and he's been working on his ground skills as well, that he could potentially match up with Aldo. He looked great in that fight against Jan. It was close. Some people did think that he won. It wasn't as close as the TJ fight, but some people did think that he won that fight. And so, I mean, he's definitely up there with the top contenders. It just worries me because he might be stuck in that Max Holloway situation, in that Robert Whitaker situation, where he's just never going to get there. But you never know, just because of how close those fights were. And he took it on short notice. So yeah. I think for sure.
So to answer your initial question, who do I think Cory should fight? I think if he thinks he could make a run for the belt again, which I also do think he can make a run for the belt again, the fight to make is Chito. Like, that's an obvious him versus Marlon Vera. If that fight happens, he wins that fight. That's what's going to help him get to that belt again. And honestly, if he's not fighting anybody better than Vera, I don't think he's helping his case to get to the belt again. Like, I don't think a win over a Dominic Cruz or a Rob Font.
Yeah, and he's already faced the top three guys in the division, so Chito's kind of the only one there. I mean, he lost to Aljo, lost to TJ, and lost to Jan. So, I mean, Chito makes the most sense for Cory Sandhagen.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that's a fight I'd love to see, by the way. I think that'd be such an entertaining fight.
1000%. It would be just quantity and quality. I mean, Chito just hits so hard, maybe not as active in the octagon as Cory is. And then vice versa. Cory might not hit as hard as Chito, but he's very active, constantly throwing punches. So, I mean, you'd really have to see how it compares. And the thing is, whoever wins this, there's a long line for the title shot. I mean, you have Jan versus O'Malley. Whoever wins that's probably going to get the next title shot. But then you'll also, if the fight is close between TJ and Aljo, are they going to do a rematch? it's like there's just so many things in this division right now and so many pieces to put together. But I love it. It's so exciting because there's always someone that's going to be up for contention for the belt.
Well, yeah, because even if Aldo wins versus Dillashaw, then I don't know if Jan gets another rematch. Assuming Jan wins, O'Malley would get the match, but then who gets it then? Is it Merab? Is it Sandhagen? Is it Vera?
Yeah, and what do you do with Merab? Merab is just kind of the lone wolf in this division right now.
Yeah.
That situation is just it's a weird one with him and Aljamain Sterling. I mean, if Merab gets close to the title, Aljo's going to move up. I don't see Aljo beating Volk, even though I know he is. I don't see him coming close to beating Volk. Sorry, Aljamain. I'm a big fan, but I don't see him beating Volk anytime soon. And it's just, what do you do with Merab? Does he face someone lower? I kind of feel like he's going to have to face someone below him.
Yeah, I don't know. You do hurt yourself there if you're a Merab, but I understand it too. Like I do get it. I can't relate necessarily, but I understand what he's saying when he's like, "This is my friend. I don't want to fight my friend." But bantamweight's wild right now. Like literally wild, and I love it, and I'm here for it. But another weight class, featherweight. You were talking about Volk. We got an up and coming match for a fight night, and it's gonna be Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, taking on Movsar Evloev. Both undefeated fighters. Bryce 15-0, Movsar 16-0. Tori. I mean, we're not gonna give a breakdown for this fight, but what do you think? Just seeing the headlines.
I mean, it's really going to be a ground game. It's going to be very, very exciting. I mean, you have two younger upcoming undefeated fighters in the rankings, and Evloev, if that's how you pronounce his name, I'm pretty sure, has 18 takedowns in his last two fights. That is like, I believe it's like a divisional record or something. It's insane. And we all know Thug Nasty, how he is on the ground. I mean, he dismantled Edson Barboza on the floor, and it's gonna be an awesome fight, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Arkansas hillbilly wrestling versus Russian wrestling. Like, what wrestling is going to win? And as a wrestling fan and a wrestling fan in MMA, this is a dream fight right here. And I also love Bryce Mitchell. That dude is hilarious. Camo shorts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's beat a rapper, a farmer.
He's everything.
Doesn't even train in the gym. He doesn't even train in the gym, Tori.
I know.
He's in the UFC and doesn't train in a gym.
He's Thug Nasty. That man is Thug Nasty. He does it the Thug Nasty way. And it's an awesome way to do it. I mean, look at where he is right now. And I'm just really excited to see how his grappling will compare to Evloev's wrestling. I'm just really interested. I'm not saying it's like this at all, but almost like I'm excited because like Charles versus Islam is grappling versus wrestling, and same this one's kind of grappling versus wrestling as well. So I'm just very excited to see how they compare.
Yeah, I'm also very excited. I think it'll be a good fight, and one of these fighters are gonna put their first loss on their pro career. So that's pretty crazy. But another fight that got announced for a fight night is Kattar versus Arnold Allen. Firefight. Tori, what do you think?
Very exciting. I'm excited for this fight. Originally, I had kind of done a featherweight matchmaking thing in my on my account on TikTok, and I had said this is unpopular. I kind of want to see Arnold Allen face Max Holloway. Even if he wins this fight,
why not?
He still has the potential because I mean, why not take the risk? You have Sean O'Malley facing the number one contender and Petr Yan. You have Alex Pereira, has like not a lot of experience in MMA, facing the champion. They've been making these huge steps, so I want to see that. It still very much could happen after he wins, but other than that, I'm very excited for this fight. I think Arnold takes it. That's my early prediction, really quick, just because I think Kattar has also been very unlucky. He had such a close fight with Emmett a couple months ago. I mean, some people argued that he won. A lot of people argued that he won. And then you have Allen just coming off of that knockout of Hooker, and he's on an 11-fight win streak, and he just looks amazing right now. So I'm kind of rooting for the newer contender on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate a Max Holloway fight if I'm Arnold Allen. I mean, dude's got some good wins over excuse me, Sadiq Yusuf, a guy that we're going to talk about. Very good fighter. Also Dan Hooker got a good win over them or over him. So I could see that. As for Kattar, what I meant to say earlier, I hear it pronounced different ways, so I get confused. Calvin Kattar, he's good, but I don't know if he's Arnold Allen good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That'll be a fun fight to watch though too, because they have very similar styles of fighting.
1000%. And Calvin Kattar is one of the better strikers in the UFC. His boxing is amazing.
100%.
But I mean, that Max Holloway fight about a year and a half ago, I think he just might have not come out the same after that one because that was a brutal beating.
I definitely think he's more on the back end of his career right now too.
Yeah,
which is sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
So this week, Cody Garbrandt's opponent Ronnie Yawa dropped out, and he couldn't fight. And I pronounced that wrong, but he's not good. So, and Cody Garbrandt ended up getting hurt. So the whole fight kind of isn't happening. If you know me, I'm a huge, huge Cody Garbrandt fan. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time. And it stinks seeing time get added. He was supposed to fight in July. He's supposed to fight in October. Now he might not fight until like January. And I'm like, I think he still, if he gets some wins, has a good shot. Yeah. But the more time keeps getting added, the more I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's a tough one with Cody. I mean, it's just, you never know this guy. I mean, he's still young. He's like only 30 or something. And it's just, we've just been seeing him just get rocked and then do good and then get rocked. And it's sad to see. So, I mean, I think this fight, his next one is kind of going to be his last draw. It's just kind of going to be like, are you still in it or are you not? Yeah. But I mean, when he did move down to flyweight, you do have to give him props because he did fight Kattar France.
Sure.
A very well-versed top contender in the flyweight division. That is a very hard fight. But with that said, he did get dominated in that fight. So it's just, we'll see. We'll see. I'm rooting for Cody. I always will be, but it's hard to see.
Yeah, I'm tired of having to hear Cody no chin Garbrandt.
Yeah.
Like that, it just bothers me. I like him so much. I really do. But, unfortunately, he is out of his fight. So that stinks. José Aldo has retired. And we had talked about this earlier when Merab Dvalishvili kind of hinted at it on the MMA Hour with Ariel. And turned out it's true. Legend is gone, Tori.
Yeah, that is, I think it was a good decision. I mean, he could have gone out, as you had said previously, he could have gone out with a bang, like a bigger kind of ceremonial thing, but I think it was a good choice. He just had a kid. And we also have to remember, José Aldo is only 35 years old. He's younger than a lot of UFC fighters on the roster. So that just gives you an idea of how long he has been doing this for and how long he ran. Like, it's crazy. He was at such a young age when he was dominating. And I mean, I'm glad to see him go out the way he did. I mean, you always say this, and I'm going to say it one more time. It's just, he retired from fight game, like, at a good time. He didn't let it retire him. He didn't let himself get worn out. He reinvented himself. He went down to bantamweight, which is something we don't usually see. And he looked great in bantamweight. He competed with the top of the division. And then his last fight wasn't even like a dominant loss. So props to him, an amazing, amazing career and a true legend to the sport.
I agree. And you want to talk about somebody who is respected fighter, never did anything outside of the sport, never got himself in trouble, never missed weight. Never missed weight. Just going to throw that in there, and was so dominant in 2 weight classes.
Yeah.
Like, crazy career for Aldo for sure. And it's, it's sad to see him go, but at the same time, at least he realized it was time to go. And I kind of was hoping he would retire after that Merab fight. And if anything, I wanted to see him fight Dominic Cruz and retire after that fight. Whether he won it or lost, I wanted to see him retire. But either way, I am happy that he's gone, but it is sad to see him leave. So
it is for sure, yeah.
But
legend, and I mean, just props to him for, he helped build it and he helped build this division, and I mean, just an overall amazing, amazing dude and such an amazing champion.
Yep, Helga Donis was one of the best fighters of all time, and I'll 100%. Be able to say I watched him. So time to get to Fight Night, Tori. We got Mackenzie Dern taking on Jan, and man, dude, like, UFC does not want to help us at all with our podcast. They know when we do our podcast, and they want to switch the fights every single day before the podcast. That's just what they want to do, and I get it, Dana. I know you're watching. I know you're listening. But maybe just one time, Dana, you can just give us the right card. And I know things change, and he can't control that, but we do have an idea as of when we're recording this of what fights are going to happen. Whether they're on the main card or not, I don't know, but we're just going to cover them anyway for you guys. So first fight that we are going to cover is John Castaneda versus Daniel Santos. Tori, I'll throw it over to you. What do you think about this fight?
I mean, so this is a fight in the bantamweight division. We have Castaneda 19-5-0, and then we have Santos, who is 10-2. This fight is gonna be exciting. You have Santos, who is a decent striker. He is kind of very flashy in the way he throws stuff, meaning he'll kind of load up his shots very visibly for his opponents to see, but it's entertaining to watch. He is always walking forward. He has solid leg kicks and can be taken down. So yeah, and Santos right now is 5-0 with knockouts and 2-0 with submissions. So he has never been finished. And then you have Castaneda, very well rounded. He does like to keep the fight on his feet. He has pretty good cardio, fast hands, not a whole lot of power, and he just can mix in his wrestling kind of whenever he wants to. But the main thing is just the pressure. He is always walking forward and putting that pressure on. And so with that, I think I'm going to go Castaneda on this one. I think I'm going to go Castaneda by decision just because Santos hasn't been finished, and it's Santos' second fight in the UFC. And so we'll see. But I mean, I have Castaneda by decision for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Tori. I'm going Castaneda by decision. You mentioned how much of a well-rounded fighter he is. High-paced striking, quick style, those with a lot of volume. And you mentioned how he likes to mix in wrestling. He'll be throwing jab, jab, cross, cross, hook, takedown. And I do like that style. How I said, if I was an MMA fighter, that would be my kind of style. I would like strike, 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 and then double leg. And that's exactly what John Castaneda does. Looking at Daniel Santos, though, you mentioned he marches forward with his boxing style. He has good defense. He has great power. Mm-hmm. He has good leg kicks, like you mentioned. Pretty good BJJ as well. I 100% agree with you, Tori. Castaneda's got a lot of pressure, and I do not see Daniel Santos being able to handle it well. So I'm going to go with Castaneda.
Well, I'm glad we agree on that one. First agreement of the fight. All right, so next we have a bantamweight fight, and we have Barcelos versus Jones. Alex, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you look at Barcelos, and he hits really hard. Like, whatever he's doing, he's throwing with the intent to hurt you. Whether it's a low kick or a jab, he has really good wrestling, good Brazilian jiu-jitsu to top that off. 92% takedown defense. He's coming off a loss, but he didn't look awful in the fight.
It's kind of iffy loss, yeah.
Looking at Jones, also has a lot of power. Not very technical, but he does love to brawl. He's got a BJJ black belt as well. I like Barcelos here, mainly because I just think he's a lot better of a fighter. I haven't seen enough from Jones to make an opinion to say that he's any better than Barcelos is. And I like to give a detailed reason as to why a fighter's winning, but I just can't give that reason. Sometimes the simple reason is the best reason. And for me, it's just, I think Barcelos is a lot better. So I think he's going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I 1000% agree with you. I have it in writing. Barcelos, just overall better fighter. I mean, like you said, very well rounded, just can do it all. And he's 35 years old and still looking really good. Just like, as you said before, great jiu-jitsu, good boxing, throws a lot of leg kicks, and he has good wrestling, offense and defense. He can just do it all. And I think that's going to overpower Jones. I mean, Jones has power. He's not very technical. He is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, which he could use to his advantage, but I doubt it because he usually does tend to stand and strike. But he kind of relies on his power. And so overall, I think Barcelos is a better fighter, and I think he's going to take it.
Yeah, there we go. The next fight, Tori, is a fighter I really like. Sodiq Yusuff versus Don Shanes. And I mean, Sodiq, he is a strong featherweight coming in at 5'9", has good striking, great speed, had a great contender series fight versus Mike Davis. He is 6-1 in the UFC, outstrikes all of his opponents. I really like the guy. I really do like him. You look at Don, he's coming in on short notice, very well-rounded fighter, good volume striking. He likes to scramble, but most of all, he's tough. I think he's a really tough guy, and I think that is his key to win. Thing is, I don't see him winning. I see Yusuff taking this one, and I see him finishing him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I mean, Yusuff, he's just good and he's very aggressive. I mean, sometimes he can have a little bit of low volume and he does tend to show when he does load up those shots. But other than that, he just has great power, such good speed. Like you said, he's 6-1 in the UFC and his one loss is to Arnold Allen. That was pretty recent, but good takedown defense. And then Shanis, this is a short term fight. And he's a tough guy. I mean, well rounded. He's pretty good grappling, and he just doesn't have a quit in him. So I don't know. I mean, I have Yusuff winning this fight. I'm not sure how, but I'm gonna say Yusuff on this one.
There we go. And Tori, I noticed that I skipped a fight, almost like I did on the last podcast. You let me do it this time, but we'll go back to that fight. We agree on this one with Yusuff, Randy Brown, and honestly, we might end up being right. I might have messed up, and that might actually be the right order.
You never know. We had different orders. We're going. There's so many different things on different websites, so it might be someone else's good order, correct order.
Right.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But Tori, I will throw it over to you. Randy Brown taking on Francisco Trinaldo. Who do you have in this fight?
In this fight, right off the bat, I have written down Brown by third round knockout. And so, I mean, you have Brown, he's 15-4, and then you have Trinaldo, who's 28-8. Trinaldo, though, he does have 9-0. He's 9-0 with knockouts, 5-3 submissions, and then you have Brown 6-2 with knockouts and 5-1 with submissions. Trinaldo is a UFC veteran. He has been in the organization since 2012. He has wins against Bobby Green, Jim Miller, Paul Felder, and most of his losses are by decision, and he has like 2 by submission, I believe. But the thing with Ronaldo is this man is 44 years old. He is definitely up there, but he's not really showing it. I mean, he's a good striker. He uses his range very well, has good exchanges, uses his kicks. Or I was just describing Brown. I meant to say I was just describing Brown. So Brown is a very good striker. He uses his range very well, has really good exchanges. And then he's big for the weight class. He's just a long dude. And then you have Trinaldo, who is back-to-back pretty good wins. He has solid wrestling. He's good everywhere, just well-rounded, lower on the volume. He has okay grappling, and his wrestling's all right, but he does rely on his bigger shots to win the rounds. But being 44 years old, he still has really good gas tank, and he still has a good chin. Not very technical, but he does hold a lot of power. But just because of the age difference and just because of how good I think Brown is, I think Brown's going to get to him. I think he might finish him in the early third round.
There you go.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with Francisco, 44 years old, coming off back-to-back losses. Tori, you mentioned it. He's got a good gas tank. I think he has a great chin because he hasn't shown any weakness. And to top it all off, he has what I like to call old man strength. You ever, saw your dad or your grandpa lift something or do something, you're like, how'd they do that? It's old man strength, and he's got it on steroids. And on top of his old man strength, you mentioned he's got some good wrestling too, but his power is insane. And
it is, for sure.
It makes it really hard for me to pick against him. He could be 50, and it would still be really hard for me to pick against him. But man, Randy Brown, he's a great striker. He's tall, uses his length well, especially for welterweight. runs fast, strikes fast, coming off a good decision win versus Chaos Williams, I want to say. And
yeah.
I don't know. Francisco has, I've said it before, it's the only like emotional based argument I ever use is he's got that dog in him. He does have the dog in him. And I usually don't like picking against guys that have the dog in them, Tori. But I am going to go with Randy Brown. I just think it's kind of back to what I was saying earlier. I think Randy Brown is a little better of an MMA fighter. But if Francisco can land one of those punches, fight's over. If he can land one of those hard punches, I see Brown lights out. But I am going to take Brown, and I'm going to take it by decision.
Okay, yeah. All right, so we agree on that. I mean, it is always harder to pick against the older guys, but I mean, for this one, I think Brown is overall is the better fighter, like you said. Agree. So for the main event, now we have Mackenzie Dern versus Jan. You know, I don't even.
Xiaonan.
I've attempted not the best, but Alex, give me a breakdown of this fight.
Yeah, Mackenzie Dern, man. Let me just talk about Mackenzie Dern real quick. I don't like Mackenzie Dern. I really do not like Mackenzie Dern. I don't like Mackenzie Dern for a lot of reasons. I'm not even going to give you my breakdown right now. I'm going to give you reasons I don't like Mackenzie Dern. Number one reason is she has a fake accent.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Her accent is fake, and it's obviously fake. If you look at old videos, she's like, "Hey guys, my name's Mackenzie Dern," and now she's like, got a fake Portugal. I think it's Portugal accent or Brazil. It's something. She got a fake accent. Portuguese accent. She got a fake Portuguese accent. She used to talk like a stereotypical 18-year-old like white girl, and now she's got this fake accent. That's the first reason I don't like Mackenzie Dern. Second one comes into my breakdown. Mackenzie Dern is great at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She is arguably the best female BJJ fighter in UFC right now.
Yeah.
She has, Tori, a 9% takedown accuracy.
I know, yeah. Crazy. I mean, yeah, like, it's insane.
How? First off, I don't care if you're the worst wrestler in UFC. How do you have a 9% takedown accuracy? Number one. Yeah. And number two, how do you have a 9% takedown accuracy and your key to win is on the ground? Is getting a submission, is getting a hold, a choke. I don't know. Now she's done it. She's done it without taking people down. So props to her. But I just had to get that off my chest. But given a breakdown, she has been a good striker recently. Mm-hmm. And I think that does help her a lot. And I kind of already said it. If she gets it on the ground, it's over. You're not going to win.
It was like the Charles Oliveira of the women's division. Not as dangerous, but kind of like that.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit.
You look at Jan, excellent striker. Has like a boxing Muay Thai-esque mix of fighting. She times her strikes really good, but she also likes to scrap. And she has overall, Jan has just looked really good in the UFC. I think in her career. Now, watching Dern try to get a fight to the ground is hard to watch.
It's painful.
It hurts. Yeah. It hurts. But I think she can win the fight striking, Tori. I really do. And I don't like to pick Tori. I don't like to pick Dern, who I don't like. But I mean, as a breakdown, as an analyst, I'm gonna pick Dern, and I think she's just really tough. And that's what I think helps her on her feet. So whether she's a more talented striker is a different question than the better striker. But I think Dern just has good striking, and I think she's tough, and I think Jan will have a lot of trouble with that toughness. I think that Jan could. It's kind of like, you give your best shots you can, and they just keep walking you down. What do you do? It's like a zombie. It's like Walking Dead, and you're blasting a zombie, but you didn't hit the right shot, and it's still coming at you. That's kind of how I feel about Mackenzie Dern. As much as I don't like her in the octagon and outside the octagon, but I'm gonna go with Mackenzie Dern here.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm gonna kind of have to disagree. I mean, her striking's really good. She's definitely been improving, but I don't think she wants to rely on it too much in this fight because it still is not that technical. she's still learning. It's almost like a Kamaru Usman where people were saying, "Oh, he's such a good striker," blah blah blah. No, he just went from having no striking to learning how to strike. You know what I mean? And this is kind of what we have here. I mean, you don't want to see her rely on it too much because she could get clipped. I think Jan overall is the better striker, but she does not. I don't think she usually puts on as much pressure as Mackenzie does. We all know Mackenzie has great grappling, as you said. Wrestling, hard to watch. Hard to watch. Even from someone that doesn't know a lot about wrestling. I know a good amount about MMA wrestling. It's even tough for me to watch. I'm like, just know, I'm like, well, it's hard, but so tough, very very tough. But it's hard. I mean, Jan's just such an aggressive boxer. She has good output. She has really good leg kicks, and she has pretty good wrestling, but I mean, she should not be using it in this fight because Mackenzie, whenever she does take someone down, she usually waits for her opponents to make a mistake, and that's when she gets them. And so, I mean, Jan 1000% should keep the fight standing. I'm kind of hoping you know what? I'll switch it up a little bit. I had Dern, but I think I'm gonna go Jan. I mean, if she could keep the fight standing, I think she could outpoint her and maybe even finish her. And so, it's just, I don't know. I think her pressure might be too much, and unless Mackenzie gets to the floor, which Jan has pretty good takedown defense, I don't really see her finishing her. But if it goes to the floor, it's a hard thing to say because it's Mackenzie Dern on the floor. But like you said, her wrestling is just so not good. And so if she has struggles taking Jan to the floor, I think Jan could potentially win the fight. And something fun about this fight is sometimes within female fights, we do see them against the cage a lot. And in the clinch, I don't think we're going to see that as much as this fight because Jan doesn't want to risk taking Dern down or even really kind of holding her to risk any submissions. And Dern doesn't really have the skill to take Jan down.
No,
and so I think this will be an interesting striking matchup that will be a fun fight.
Yeah, to your point, Tori, to kind of disagree with myself is you don't want to see Dern get into a striking match. And a lot of the times what will happen is Dern gets into these striking matches and then she doesn't even want to try to get a takedown, right?
Yeah.
And that's like
she relies too much on her striking.
Yeah, she relies too much on it. And like, we both said, her key to winning is by grappling. So I could still see her being the tougher opponent. And I mean, it's 25-minute rounds or 25-minute fight. So I could see her being tough towards the end of the fight, still sticking it in there. I could also see best case scenario for old Mackenzie fake Dern, fake accent Dern, is if she can get a knockdown and then be able to get on top and then throw in a submission. That would be best case scenario for her. And I can also see that happening. But no, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with anybody who picks Jan in this fight because you look at the fight on paper, you look at the stats, it kind of leads towards Jan. So.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, for me, I can see Mackenzie winning it more ways. I think I'm rooting for Jan more than I am rooting for Dern. I mean, I kind of want her to get there.
I'm definitely rooting for Jan more.
Yeah,
I want Mackenzie Dern gone. I don't like her.
Yeah, and so it's a hard fight to pick because it really depends if they get on the ground. It really does. I mean, you won't know unless we see her attempt to. I mean, you never know. She could have improved her wrestling, but I mean, it couldn't have improved that much since her last fight. So we'll see. It's kind of in between. So yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So that was our breakdowns and predictions for Dern versus Jan. Guys, if you made it this far, comment down. I had an idea, but I'm only going to do it if one person wants it. But if I get all of Tori's predictions of how many fights she's gotten right and wrong, how many fights I've gotten right and wrong, and then we make it into a percentage, and I'll put it on the screen to see the percentage of fights that were right. If somebody wants that, just one person.
I want that. I want to see how many I've gotten right.
There we go. We need one of our 220 subscribers to comment it, and I will do it. I'll do it for our next one. Because it'll make it a little more fun, make it a little more spicy.
Interesting.
But
yeah, for sure.
No, that was good. I'm excited for this fight night as always. Tori, we're gonna end it with top 5. Another one of your ideas. I feel like you come up with all the top 5, so I'll come up with one day, and then I'll feel like I helped contribute more. But Tori, I'll give it to you first. Top 5 walkouts
Alrighty. So there's so many good ones to choose from, given my personal top 5. So here they are. Alrighty. So number 5, I have Tai Tuivasa. Really, any of his walkouts, like all of them are just amazing. I mean, he has Barbie Girl, and then Want to Be by the Spice Girls. Just so many different amazing things. And then number 4, I have Brian Ortega when he walked out with the Purge mask. That was bad.
Sick.
That was so cool. That was just silent and just the mask glowing in the dark. Even though he did lose that fight, it was amazing. Number 3, just be purely because this is probably one of my favorite songs to ever be created, Alexander Volkanovski's Walkout to Down Under. I mean, it's literally his anthem. Like, it was just awesome. I just love Volk. And yeah. Number 2, Patty the Batty, Heads Will Roll. I mean, the crowd, everyone, oh, Patty the Batty, and just him like doing his little dance and everything. It was awesome. And then at number 1, I have Wonder Boy's iconic Walkout All the Time. Wonder Boy walking out to the song Wonder Boy by Tenacious D. And that is going to be my top 5. Alex, what about you?
It's a good list, Tori. My personal top 5, that was your personal top 5. I'm not saying these are, the best entrances of all time. These are just my favorite. Number 5, I have Brandon Moreno at UFC 270. I don't know, but the lights turned red. He had his bandana. And it was like this, like like this, like Spanish guitar, and he's just coming out mean mug.
Yeah.
And it just got me so hype. I just remember getting so hype out of nowhere. I've never gotten more hype actually for an entrance. I just got I watched it and I was like, let's go, Brandon looks hype.
Yeah.
And so that's my number 5. Number 4, I have Paddy Pimblett at London as well. It's iconic, Tori. It's great. Number 3, I have Colby Covington coming out to the Kurt Angle theme with the American flag on his back and everybody saying he sucks. It just was so fitting for Colby. And I kind of like Colby Covington too, so it kind of helps, but maybe I shouldn't say that out loud. Number 2, I have John Jones at UFC 197 coming out to Coming Home by P. Diddy. It was a very emotional entrance. It was an awesome entrance. That's got to be my number 2. Mm-hmm. And it would be my number 1 if Israel Adesanya didn't come out to the Undertaker's theme song. Undertaker's my favorite WWE fighter of all time ever. Israel Adesanya is my favorite UFC fighter.
It matched.
And him, the purple lights, the hat, the urn that had Jared Cannonier's name on it, how he brought the lights up. It was this chef's kiss. Wish it could have been, a cooler fight so the media wouldn't dog him so bad. But that is my number 1 walkout.
That was an awesome one. That was so funny when I saw the urn. I was like, I didn't even know it said Cannonier's name at the end. I was like, damn. I was like, this man is serious.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It was intense. Tori, we have some things coming up on the channel. You wanna tell people what they can look forward to?
Yes, I'm not sure if I can say the names or if we want it.
Yeah, drop the names. Name drop.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so we have 2 fighter interviews coming up. They're going to be posted in this upcoming week. We have one with new upcoming UFC fighter, Chris Duncan. Just won the Dana White Contender Series contract. We talk about that. We talk about his life, what it's like on the Contender Series. It was awesome. And then we have a strawweight fighter just fought last weekend or 2 weekends ago at UFC 279, Elise Reed. This woman is amazing. You guys will definitely want to be here about her life and all she does. So yeah, they'll be out this week. Very excited.
Yeah, very excited. Sorry I put you on the spot right there, but
you're all good.
Did want people to know about it, and these are 2 great interviews. I had a lot of fun interviewing both of these fighters, and I think they're great people, and you should definitely listen to the interviews when they come out. One's gonna come out Friday, one's gonna come out Monday, hopefully. So be on the lookout for those. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're there. Go listen to our podcast there. Download them if you're an audio only. And that is going to do it for episode 6 of the Not Your Everyday MMA podcast. My name is Alex Henry, and I was with
Tori Haverl. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. We're signing off.